Can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes! Okay, let's do it this way. I'm Terrence Kincannon, and I'm the President and CEO for Go Lake Havasu, your community destination management organization. And I'm very proud today because today is one of the most special days that we're going to have here in this city, in this beautiful city of Lake Havasu where we live. This event that you're here today is the beginning of a 31-day celebration of the golden anniversary of the London Bridge here in Lake Havasu City. This incredible piece of history, the world's largest antique, our London Bridge, has since 1971, it's been the very cornerstone upon which this community was built. And in the shadow of this incredible stone arch structure that we sit underneath right now, commerce has flourished, families have been raised, and a small patch of desert land became the city that we now live in and we love. So, 50 years later, we celebrate this magnificent structure, this beautiful bridge, and the bold vision of Robert P. McCulloch, our city's visionary founder. Let's hear it for Robert P. and the London Bridge. It is a great pleasure of mine today to be able to introduce to you some of our community leaders. And they're going to talk about the London Bridge and what it's meant to this community from day one. And they're going to talk to you about the impact it's had, not just on the way we feel about our community, but the impact on our economic development and the impact on making the city the strongest and the best city it can possibly be, which is where we are right now. So first of all, please welcome to the stage, or he's already on the stage, but please welcome to the podium our Honorable Mayor, Mr. Cal Sheehy.
Thank you, Terrence, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today marks the beginning of a month-long tribute through celebrations, ceremonies, and events of our famed London Bridge. Robert P. McCulloch, our city's founder, was an entrepreneur and an innovator. He had an incredible vision for what the future of Lake Havasu City could be. The City of London was looking for a buyer for the London Bridge. The London Bridge could not withstand the weight of 20th century automobiles and the traffic of the City of London. The London Bridge was sinking in the River Thames. Mr. McCulloch saw this as an opportunity for his new community. He wanted an attraction that would make a name for Lake Havasu City. Mr. McCulloch was the winning bidder after he placed a bid of $2.4 million. He arrived at this number by doubling the estimated cost of dismantling the structure of $1.2 million and adding $60,000, $1,000 for each year of his age at the time. The London Bridge represents the world's largest antique ever sold, and the city is proud to be the home of the world-famous London Bridge. The London Bridge represents our shared bond with the City of London and serves as a showpiece to all that call Lake Havasu City home and to the hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. Mr. McCulloch's vision, coupled with the expertise and design finesse of his friend, C.V. Wood, has been a huge success. Lake Havasu City is now home to over 57,000 residents and is a vibrant community with a bright future. This city was built in a similar way that the London Bridge was reconstructed in its American home, brick by brick, project by project, home by home. The pioneers of this community rolled up their sleeves and got to work to build this amazing community based on the vision of Mr. McCulloch. Not only did our founding residents, our proud pioneers, work on the reconstruction of this very London Bridge, but they opened businesses, they taught our children in school, and they built the infrastructure necessary to attract more people to move to beautiful Lake Havasu City. The London Bridge is the #1 built attraction in the state of Arizona. Every year, hundreds of thousands of visitors flock to our community to enjoy our great recreational opportunities, our beautiful landscapes, and our sunny skies. Visitors enjoy our beaches, boating, hiking, off-roading, great family-owned restaurants, unique boutique shopping, and so much more. There is so much to see and do in Lake Havasu, and no stop is complete without a visit to the London Bridge, the English Village, or the Visitor Center. The London Bridge represents a point of pride for our community. In the early days, all of our recreation and entertainment centered around this bridge, with events, dances, entertainment, and the like taking place underneath the bridge and on this very stage. As our community grew, and more people discovered the magic of Lake Havasu City, either as residents or as visitors, the bridge remains a focal point and a great place of entertainment. We are proud of this bridge, the defining legacy of Robert P. McCulloch, and the bridge's prosperity for so many that have called Lake Havasu City home. I invite you to visit Go Lake Havasu to see all the events, golakehavasu.com, to see all of the events, ceremonies, parade, and celebrations that will take place this month to commemorate 50 years since the dedication of this beautiful bridge here in Lake Havasu City. We are celebrating our golden anniversary, and we celebrate our history and reflect on the past, focus on the present, and look towards the future. There are no bad days in Lake Havasu City. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cal. So for those of you who haven't already been, and I can't imagine there aren't many, if you haven't been to the Lake Havasu Museum of History, then you're doing yourself a great disservice. The person I'm about to introduce right now is sort of new to our community, not that new, but she's done a tremendous job with the Lake Havasu Museum of History, and I cannot say more good things about it or about her. So please welcome the Executive Director for Lake Havasu Museum of History, Hannah Rangel.
So when I first came here, it's very different. I came from San Diego, and what an amazing city. And I have so much more to learn about the history of this particular city. But when I think of McCulloch and I think about the bridge and everything Lake Havasu, I think how many people had such a mind, such an intelligent mind of innovation, invention, ingenuity, and all the people who still live here who have participated in building this bridge to what it is and also building the entire city. I'm very, very excited to be here for the 50th anniversary. It is going to be an amazing, amazing month full of events. Anything from the dinners under the bridge to the Cancer Society's walk to the reunion for the chainsaw workers and the construction workers who built this lovely bridge. So I implore you to attend as many events as possible. We're going to have an amazing time, and especially since we're bringing back McCulloch's outboard racing and bringing back the Havasu Classic. So with that, I will just keep it short and say happy 50th anniversary, Lake Havasu City.
Thank you very much, Hannah. So, with all due respect to myself and the people that have already spoken, at Go Lake Havasu, we do like to save the best for last. And so, on that note, I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman who has made such a difference for the Visitor Center. He is the co-designer. If you've been to the Visitor Center recently, you know that 3 years ago it looked a lot different than it does now. It looks remarkable now. It takes you on a journey. It tells stories. It's one of the best visitor centers in the state. This gentleman I'm about to introduce to you had everything to do with that, everything to do with the vision, and he runs that visitor center. He runs it very well. He also provides me with a great deal of guidance, and even though I am technically the leader, sometimes he leads me, and for that I love leading him and being led by him. I have learned so much from him, and his name is Jan Cassis, and he's the Director of Visitor Services for Go Lake Havasu and the head of the Visitor Center in Lake Havasu. So before I start to cry at how much I enjoy working with this young man, please welcome Mr. Jan Cassis.
Thank you, student. Of course, he's not my student. Come on. Well, London Bridge is down. London Bridge operation is a secret plan, and maybe not that secret anymore, about what has to happen when Queen Elizabeth dies. London Bridge is down is expected to be the phrase used to communicate the death of the Queen to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and the key personnel. But it's still a plan. The Queen is still with us. And in Lake Havasu City, the bridge is still here. The bridge is standing strong, sturdy, earthquake-proof. If we get an earthquake, the bridge can move. It's on Teflon plates and it can move back and forth. Stronger than it has ever been in London. Lake Havasu City has a very strong underground. London Bridge is not sinking down. But without Robert Paxton McCulloch, Lake Havasu City and the London Bridge wouldn't have been here. We wouldn't have been here. We Havasuvians take it often a little, the bridge for granted. It's again about the London Bridge. One of the builders of the bridge, his name is Phelps Friley, his wife is sitting there. One of the builders said, and I think that is such a nice sentence, the London Bridge gave us our identity. What would we have been without the London Bridge? Maybe a little town, a little settlement, only with people who want to go boating. No, the London Bridge gave us our identity. I was supposed to tell you something about the history of the bridge, but that's too much, I won't do that. But I want to set a few things straight. I often hear, this is not the whole bridge, there is one arch missing. That's wrong. The London Bridge in London had 5 arches, was 928 feet long and 49 feet wide. Why do people think that? Well, if you go to London, then it's on the land side is a little tunnel made by the same stones and everything, and there are steps next to it. These are called Nancy's Steps. That's where is Nancy in the book of Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist, is murdered. Another thing about these steps, but I'm not sure about that, Jack the Ripper is seen for the last time when he walked up the step next to the London Bridge. It could have been Nancy's steps, but it could have been our steps too. Well, now we are almost at the ghost thing. Have you ever heard voices when you walked across the bridge? Yeah, of course, when you drank a little bit too much, but I mean voices of ghosts. Have you ever seen a woman in a black dress walking across the bridge? Who has seen that? Not heard about it. Okay. Have you ever seen 4 women in Victorian dresses? Anybody? But these women disappeared in the water, and they didn't. Have you ever felt a force of dark energy when you walked across the bridge? Who did that? Maybe if your ex-wife was walking out behind you, but nobody. Let's say now, there are no ghosts on the London Bridge. Nobody has seen it. It's all hearsay. Another thing I want to set straight. I get a lot of British people, and they come in and say, ha, 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 ha. McCulloch bought the wrong bridge, didn't he? He bought Tower Bridge. Wrong. If you buy something for $2.5 million, do you know what you're buying? Well, he has been there. He bought it, and as far as I know, he made it up himself. He had a press conference and he said, well, when I unwrapped the London Bridge, there were no towers in this. I was a little, he made a joke, he was a jokester. Another thing, have you ever thought about how many people walked across the London Bridge? It started in the year 50 until now. Millions and millions of people. And if you think about it, then it gets even more. Across this bridge, probably the Beatles walked, and the Rolling Stones for the counterpart. Queen Elizabeth, Churchill, Roosevelt, all across this bridge, because it was an important bridge. And I know from two people for sure, Sergeant Fitzwater and PFC Smith. They left a little mark in the bridge with their names. At the other end of the bridge is their inscription. Sergeant Fitzwater, they were in London in 1942, went to the bridge, scribbled a name in it. They would have never thought that their name would ever go back to the United States. For me, it's kind of a little memorial. I have one question, and maybe you can help me, and maybe Mr. Mayor, you can help me for sure. What happened with all the stones that were not used and brought over? Some of them stayed in England, they were sold. I know from one stone was given by a town in England to a town in the Netherlands. This summer I've been there, I've seen that stone. They are proud of it. It's the stone of London Bridge. And they said, is that honest? Macaulay bought it, but yeah, maybe he gave it. I think it's fine. The city of Lake Havasu has a lot of stones in storage. And they have even, and not many people know this, parts of the medieval bridge. Did you know that, Mr. Mayor? See? You always learn something wherever you are. And they have a police box, even two of them. Have you ever seen Doctor Who? Doctor Who goes in the TARDIS. We have two TARDISes in storage. All around Lake Havasu, you see pieces of the London Bridge. Queen's Bay condo has a fountain made of it. They're somewhere everywhere in town. But I'm curious, and I would love to know if you can tell me, please tell me that after this, where are more stones? And the last one, is the London Bridge antique? Yes, it is. US Customs declared in '68 that the bridge was antique. Is that important? Yes, because import duty on manufactured granite is 11%. Antique is free of duty. So McCulloch saved $270,000. If you want to see more about the history of the bridge and about Lake Havasu itself, please come after this to the visitor center. And if you need a blue t-shirt for the parade or a white one, we sell them too. Thank you.
Well, I should have thought this out because I can never follow Jan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up a little bit. I'm going to bring one more person on to speak. This person is such an important member of our community, and one of the greatest events that we're doing in the 50th anniversary is our Outboard Championship. So please welcome Tim Siebold to the stage. Welcome, Tim.
I just want to express our gratitude for being part of your 50th anniversary of the London Bridge and including the Outboard Championships coming back to Lake Havasu after a 20-year hiatus. The NGK Formula One Powerboat Championship we have an example of one of our Formula One boats right over here, which is one of our competitors. We are looking forward to several events within our Powerboat Championship for that weekend of the 15th to the 17th. Thanks to Hannah and the museum and Julian for helping us out and co-chairing some of the events that we're partnering with them. But if you go to ngkf1.com, you can find all of the information with schedules, events, and everything we're going to do. But we're bringing back past champions for a reunion. We have an event at the London Bridge Beach on Friday evening. We've got a parade at 3:30 on Friday afternoon with some race boats idling through the channel for the first time since 1971. And we're looking forward to a fantastic event. We will crown champions for the series here, and we will also have North American championships up for grab during this event. My family has a long history of participating in these events from the late 60s with my father and grandfather, my older brother, and myself. So Lake Havasu has been a part of powerboat racing history thanks to Mr. McCullough's vision on how to promote the city and bring the kind of positive press that he brought for the city and the vision of all of his innovations. So I just hope that you all come out and support us because we are so thankful to be part of your celebration.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank, of course, our dignitaries here on the stage for standing up here and representing our city and this bridge so well. I'd also like to thank the Havasu Guild for adding our festive flair to the event. I'm sure they're happy to post for pictures. They look absolutely amazing. Don't forget to visit the Visitor Center right here in the village when you get a chance, and please don't forget to visit the Lake Havasu Museum of History on your first opportunity. So again, thank you to the assembled media, thank you to all of you for coming, and thank you to our dignitaries. And I just want to say 3 more words to you, and that's go Lake Havasu. And what I would love, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, go Lake Havasu. Yes, thank you.
Am I good?
You're free to go.
How do I stop it?